Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be attempting to change this flex cable inside JVC Everio model JVC GZ-MS120RU. I don't know if you can see that. The problem is when you flip open this LCD, it does not come on, but what it does do is open and close the lens cover. Now the only time I notice that when it does come on is when you flip it and you close it in. That's the only time it comes on. So what we're going to do is, first, I recommend that you get a good precision screwdriver. I didn't have any good ones, so it kind of gave me a hard time to loosen some of the screws. So what I did was I pre-loosened most of the screws before I started making this video. But definitely get yourself a good precision screwdriver. Let's start by taking this battery out. You're going to take the screw here and this screw here, right? After you take those screws out, which I already took those out, we're going to go and start taking out these 4 screws over here by the LCD screen. And yes, it is definitely still a little challenging, even though I pre-loosened it, but I noticed that these screws have Loctite on it. So let me just pause so we could jump forward. Alright, so now these 4 screws are loosened, and next one that we want to tackle is this screw here. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that these screws are all different sizes. Not all of these screws are the same size, so you want to separate the screws and label them, or hopefully you have a good memory, or you could record yourself taking apart your camera and remembering where each screw goes. Just keep on turning. Now, once you get this screw out here, I'm gonna try to pop this front cover off. Alright, now put this front cover off. You want to get this screw over here holding the front plate on. So now that we got the screws out over here that's holding this down, you can see the flex cable that's holding it. What we want to do is let's get this screw out right now. That's right here. Came out, and we want to loosen this cover right here. This cover. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna twist the screen, and you can see these tabs that's here. That's holding this black cover right there. So what you'll see is that there is an opening right here, and you want to, oh look, I just broke the flex cable. So let's slide this out the way, and like I said, what we want to do is you want to take your screwdriver, push it in there, and pop. And pop this open. So let's pause. So what happens now is the cover comes off. Put that down there. And we have these screws, 1 and 2. Alright, so 1, 2. So once you get these 2 screws out, we want to get this, we want to lift this cover off right here. So go ahead and just start trying to get this up. Alright, so we got the cover off. Alright, this is the flex cable where it plugs in. This is the swivel bar. Let's move this out of here. So this is the piece that broke. Right. So what you want to remember is the direction that this wraps around. So let's take a look. So that's gonna go inside there. Alright, so what I did was I unwrapped the flex cable that was coiled around the swivel bar right there. And now what we want to do is you want to lift Can I get a focus? We want to lift this black bar up here so that way we can slide this flex cable out. Now let's see if we can do this without causing any damage. So pretty much, let's see if I can get a focus. Sorry, but I'm trying to use my cell phone. This, if you can see, is a little flap. It flips up and swings, and pretty much this goes in and gets clamped down over here. So now what we want to do is you want to take your new one, you want to put it in, clamp it down, and then we're going to wrap this portion around the swivel bar, and the portion we're going to wrap, we're going to wrap the same amount that was unwrapped from the old piece that broke off, and pretty much we will be wrapping about this much right to the elbow right there, back around the swivel bar. So hope everybody get the idea. It's giving me a hard time. Hope everybody gets the idea. Okay. Alright, I'm back. It was a little challenging to get this wrapped around, but you know, once you get it in there, you want to make sure that this is securely snapped in to this motherboard. This is wrapped around enough so that way this elbow right here is going straight across this swivel bar. So we will begin to put this cover back on. Alright, now that the cover is on, we want to reinstall our screws, one and the two that's there. You have to twist the swivel in order to see the holes, but let's start by putting these 3 screws back. Alright, so it was a little tricky for me to get this back in, but the main thing that you want to remember, I might have made a mistake earlier in the video, is you want the elbow of this flex cable, once it's wrapped around, the flat side should be here on the black edge of this, or the black flat surface of the swivel bar. You don't want it to be back here on this edge. Let's see if I could get a focus. But you get the picture. And you know, once it's on, we're gonna start putting on this cover that we took off earlier. This cover goes on here. Remember, this lays flat across like that. And then put this cover on. So that's snapped back in. And this is that part done. Alright, so press this to the side for now, and we will come here and start taking these screws off. 1 and 2. Okay, so once you get screw up here out, screw down here, you want to get the screw right here at the top where the memory cards go. Like I said, it's very important to have a good precision screwdriver, because it only makes the job that much more frustrating. So I took this screw out, that screw. There was a screw at top that should have been taken out, and there is a screw here which I had already removed. You can remove that. I removed this screw here. I didn't take this out. Not sure if it needs to be taken out yet, but we'll see as we go along. And I started to try to separate, you know, all these screws need to be taken out. This, you know, slides in, and it's kind of giving me a little difficulty, so we don't want to break anything. I separated over here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to unscrew the screw here to take this speaker out, so that way we don't break any wires right there. So let's see if I can go ahead and loosen. So I was able to get the screw out. This little speaker, I loosened the screw, tab came up, and this speaker slid right out. So now we're gonna take this half of the camera, push it to the side, and continue to see how the rest of this comes apart. So I ended up taking this screw out here at the bottom just to give me a little wiggle room. Gotta pry this up. pry this out from over here. So let's get in. So it comes out. Right, this is what we'll be unplugging. See the resemblance here. So come back on this side. This is where we're at. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this screw here, this screw here, this screw here, separate this board from this cover. And I'm going to pause again. So once we get this separated from this cover, we have this screw right here, which is where this will get screwed into. So let's begin by taking that screw off. We unplug from here and we unplug from here, but let's start by lifting this black tab. Separate that. And that slides right out. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, lay it flat down. This has a nipple right there that this will sit down on, and then the other hole, the little screw, goes in there. Once that goes on, we put this motherboard back on. Motherboard goes on, this slides in here, and we have this piece that's going to go into there from underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get that done. Hopefully I do not damage this camera anymore. So now we have our screws in 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and slide this piece in. Put the camera down. Do not want to break the flex cable, but I'm sure everybody gets the idea. So that's in. Now remember, this flap up, this slides in, and then you push this flap down in order to secure. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to collapse this without breaking the flex cable. Alright, so we'll rest this down just like that. We're going to take this piece and going to come right here. Slide it in, snap it down. Right? Now that we have that piece in, let's go ahead and let's get some screws in and secure the 3 holes at the bottom. Alright, so what I ended up having to do was I installed 2 screws over here to secure this side plate. And what I would recommend is that you get these 2 screws in here to hold the LCD screen, so that way you don't snap the flex cable. So once you get that, in order to secure it, this is what you have left. So the next thing that I'm going to do is install this top piece and this bottom piece. Now the thing to remember is when you install this bottom piece, you want to remember, put the speaker back over here. But let me go and see if I can do this while camera is rolling. I guess the best thing would be is hooking the back piece over here. I'm going to hook in the lip and then press down. You look through, make sure all the edges are close and you can see through the holes for the threads for your screws. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install the screws to tighten down the piece that I just put on. And alright, so I went in, I was able to get these screws in. It was a little difficult because it kept falling out of my hand, but I got it. I got this top piece in. So what's left now is to connect this speaker back over here. Alright, so I got that in. It's secured. So the next thing now that we want to do is we want to close this. Now there's a little tab here that has to slide in, so you're gonna have to pull up on this, slide that in. So let's go ahead and get that done. And now what we do is we start putting in the rest of our screws. Remember, we got one here, one here, one here, 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 one here. We got screw here, screw down there, and if you didn't before, remember to get the LCD screws back. Alright, so I kind of went ahead of myself and I put these screws in first, but you want to save this screw for last because this cover has to go on. Once this cover is in, then you know you have this screw where this goes. You have these screws that's supposed to go over here, right there. And it's all about now just figuring out which screw goes where. If you did a good job of organizing, then that should not be a difficult task. There was a couple of parts that I had to take off, like I put this screw on first and I should have waited because it goes through this black cover and it goes through this red cover and secures it down right there. Yeah, so as you start putting stuff back together, another thing that I did forget to mention, you don't want to forget the screw that goes here and the screw that goes at the top right there. So now we have everything bolted up. Everything is attached. Time to do our tests. Put our battery in. Open up our screen. Blue lights on the side. I don't know if everybody can see, but we have turn around. And we have repaired the camera. Alright, I hope this video is useful for everybody out there who wants to fix their camera without having to go and purchase a new one, or you know, whatever circumstances may come due to a broken flex cable. Thank you.